We are live. Welcome to the Branding Breakthrough Challenge. This is day 2 out of 5. Today's lesson is called the Channel Unique Formula. You're going to love it. First of all, I want to thank everyone for taking your time to be here today. That is always highly appreciated. And I can't wait to just deliver this amazing presentation. You're going to gain some insane value. And we're going to build off of what we talked about yesterday, which is nailing your branding, because branding is the one channel strategy to make consistency pay off. Let me share my screen to remind you of what we talked about yesterday, and also as a way of recapping to those who will want to remember exactly what's happening. Almost there with the deck. Here we go. So what is channel branding? This is what we talked about yesterday. As some of you remember, channel branding is not about logos, designs, and colors. It is not about your channel intro. That is the little opening scene that you make when you start a video, or when you're or after people have gone through your book. And it's not your catchphrases. If you have any cool phrase that you say in every single video that people identify, that is really cool to have, but that is not exactly branded. Branding is the thing that goes deeper than that. Channel branding is the foundation on which you build everything that you make moving forward. And as I like to say, branding is the soul of your content. This is in every way how you are communicating to your audience through yourself, your camera, your personality, your images, all your visuals, the sound, the topics, your unique angles. That's one of the bigger things you will see it today. That is the soul of your content. When you nail this, everything else that you're doing is going to come a lot easier. It's going to be easier. It's going to be, more importantly, effective to attract audiences to your channel. So this is going to be extremely valuable. Some of the things that we said at the end, near the end of the presentation yesterday, was that your channel brand is your unique answer to the big question: what is my channel about? As we said yesterday, a lot of people get these wrong, to surface level, unfortunately. And when I usually ask people what their channel is about, usually tell me their niche. We say gaming, cooking, sports, whatever, basketball. Like, that is not enough. Because if I go to YouTube and search for gaming channels, for instance, I'm going to find a couple of million channels. They will not pop at once, all at once on my screen. And the reality is there are millions like that. So we want to get you to the next level, right? Turning your big idea. Remember, people are attracted to ideas, not videos or titles or comments. Big ideas. And if your big idea is not attractive enough, people won't come. And the coolest part about this is that you don't need a big following to grow a big following. You don't need to spend a lot of money, because this is pretty creative. Only the imagination, your imagination is over. And last, you don't need connection. You don't know anybody important. You can still make it. You can have today your YouTube channel being very stuck and break through, or you can start a brand new channel with 0 subscribers and reach your content creating goals. The last thing that I wanted to recap about is why channel branding is the one strategy. There are 5 key benefits to it that were part of the assignments for day one, recalling these 5 benefits. And that is 1, to stand out. This is probably self-explanatory. If you don't stand out, you're the crowd. And if you're the crowd, no one will come to you. Second, achieve congruence, which means that your videos are similar enough for people to identify a pattern that they know, like, and trust. Third, consistency. That is that once you understand your branding, it becomes easier to create content, because just the same way your audience use patterns, you will use those patterns to almost repeat certain elements from video to video. Number 4 is getting creative. I did say this already, but I think it's worth mentioning this again. We are exploiting your inner creativity to come up with a unique branding. That means that you don't need to put more money into this. You don't need to invest more time than you already are, unless you're not investing any time. And you don't need any connections to make this work. And the last thing is what I like to call the combination law. This is so extremely important. As you have heard, YouTube has a lot to do, YouTube success has a lot to do with testing ideas and tweaking your efforts. So you test something, you try to figure out what works, what doesn't, you make a change, small change, and then you move forward. The combination lock means exactly that. So you have to imagine that you have it locked with numbers where you can just rotate back and forth, and those are the elements of your channel unique branding. So when you notice that an idea is not working in Spice, your best efforts, you just change one number to come up with a new combination. And if that doesn't work, you turn it again and come up with a new combination. Until you're going to continue trying combinations to the best of your abilities until the lock opens up. And that is opening the doors to reaching your content creator goals, whether that is to grow a huge following, to become a celebrity, to quit your full-time job, or to get ahead professionally in whatever profession. Excited, right? Now, the question that could be popping in your heads is, how do we do this? How do we nail this channel unique branding? And between us, I haven't told you a lot about what this is exactly. You kind of get it. It's the soul, it's deep, it's the most powerful thing you could be doing. It has all these benefits. But what does this look like? How do you get your own channel unique branding? Well, that's what gets us to the next conversation here, which is presentation number 2. And before I get started, actually, I would like to see how the chat is going, live. Well, I didn't ask anybody to say anything, so that's fine. And before I get started, I would like to ask those who came here yesterday, or who at least have watched the live or the recording of the session, what was the biggest takeaway that you had from day one? I would love to know.
Patrick.
Hey there, one moment.
Hey, this is Debbie. The biggest takeaway from yesterday was that the common things that we think are important to building and having a successful channel, like logo, like typical things that people think of with branding, colors and thumbnails and those kinds of things, which are important, but they're not necessarily the most important, that we need to think deeper, and we need to go deeper into what we are actually about, the heart of it. That's what I took away.
Wonderful. It's very big. Yeah. 100% on point. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Well, with that said, let's get into the next presentation. Well, I don't need to tell you again where you are in the Brandon Breaker Challenge in day 2. So I'm going to start. Now, let's talk about this mysterious channel unique formula. The channel unique formula is the strategy behind powerful branding. This is a framework that consists of a special blend of ingredients that makes a YouTube channel truly unique. If you're the kind of person who thinks everything has been done already, there is too much competition, it's impossible for me to create something truly unique, let me tell you that you're wrong. Creativity has no limits. In these days, there are so many tools that you can use to create something unique. Unique content, unique ideas, and unique entertainment is being made every single day. On one side, it sounds very exciting, but on the other side, it sounds like the world is too big and it goes too fast. But don't worry. We're going to take care of you. And you are going to put in the work, and this is going to happen. By this, I mean, you will walk away with your channel unique formula. Channel unique formula is your job as a creator is to find the perfect mix, putting the pieces together in a thoughtful and innovative way, which is like having your own secret recipe. It captures your attention and keeps them coming back. In other words, again, the goal is to attract audiences. We're not talking about views or subscribers. We're talking about the bigger picture. You want to serve people through your content. You want them to feel something, and a strong reason to follow you and come back consistently. Now, what is this magic soup? What is this blend? What is this crazy stew? What is the recipe that I'm talking about? Let's talk about the 5 elements of the channel unique formula. We have niche, obviously. That is the topic of your channel. That is your passion. You need that to be there, because if you don't have a niche, it's like you don't have any place to start. Then things start getting interesting when I get to ingredient number 2, and that is audience. Who this content is for. Even though it sounds super straightforward, you should never forget that being in a niche is not enough. You will want to know who you are targeting. Often, these two are very, they are almost one and the same. But I'm going to give you a little twist to this. Now, the next thing, the element number 3, the creator. Okay, this is where the fun really starts. The creator is you. What we need to know is what you are contributing, and what are your personal contributions to making your content work? What are they? If there is no personality, if there is no unique point of view, it's going to be hard to come up with something unique. Now we have the tone. The tone is, I have a hard time describing what it is, but you know exactly once you see it. This is how you deliver your content in terms of communication, style, and emotions. In some examples of tone, this is going to help you a lot more, are entertainment, education, comedy, sad, critical, satire, all of those things that set the tone precisely. You see, it set the tone of the channel. And what's curious about this is that you could be doing the exact same idea as another creator is doing for their channel, a niche audience, not creator probably, but the tone could make a big difference in making your stuff unique. And we are going to go through some examples so that you get the idea much better. And lastly is the structure. The structure is one of the funnest part of the channel unique formula, because this is how you deliver your content in a logical sequence, in a logical flow. What this means is that when you are planning your video, I hope you are the kind of person who plans the video. So if you aren't, you're in trouble. When you plan your video rather than just shoot it, you will want to follow a certain sequence. What comes first? What comes after? You have a hook, you have an intro, do you have 3 tips to deliver? Do you have 3 stories to tell? Do you have one big story divided in different parts? There are a lot of examples of the structure that I'm going to get into in a second. But that is the idea. A useful way to identify structure is to think about format as well. There are some examples. Stories, that's a format. Q&A, that's a format. Interviews, how-tos, top 10, timeline, summary, theory. All of this make up the structure of the video, because we know what to expect. And that is precisely what you want your viewer to feel. You want them to expect certain things. Then you're going to do a few things that are not so expected. But the point is that you become a brand that they recognize. So if you make videos that are too different from each other outside of an integrated formula, your channel is going to suffer, because people may view a video and then like it and then see another one and not recognize it. See that it's too different, see that they don't see what they liked, and that's how people do not subscribe. That is the easiest way to push people from subscribing. Lack of convenience. Okay, we're gonna get to the examples. Let's get to the examples then. I'm gonna be going back and forth between YouTube and the presentation so that you get to see some examples of how the channel building formula works in real channels. It will be exciting. Looks like my own video is being recommended. These videos is being recommended to me. Thanks. So let's see. We have. Let's get into some of my subscriptions. The Game Theorists is a great channel. We're gonna see a couple of real life channels. We're going to go through titles, thumbnails, and even a little bit of footage so that you see the channel formulas come to life. Remember the channel formula, we're gonna name this handy at all times. Niche, audience, creator, tone, structure. And then in the workbook, you should have received the email. At the end of it, there is a breakdown on various channels with over 1 million subscribers. It is super exciting. The breakdown is right here. So let's talk about this. I have no idea how many of you know the Game Theorists channel, but what you need to know before I start with the breakdown is that this channel has 17.6 million subscribers. It has been growing consistently and quickly for a long time, 10 years or so. This is a gaming channel. And again, what does that tell us about the channel, about the brand? Very little, right? But we're going to be doing some back and forth. I hope you're paying attention. So the back and forth, okay, here. We're going to get back to the channel formula chart often. All right. If I was to break this down, I would say the Game Theorists niche is gaming, right? That's it. There's not a lot more to that, but maybe there is actually. What if I said that this is a particular niche, not just gaming? The name gives it away, honestly, and that's not a bad thing. The Game Theorists. This is a video games theories channel. And now we're getting a little bit more specific, and that theory thing is the structure. Once we introduce the notion of theory, we know, even before we watch the videos, we know that there are going to be, and more or less the format is going to be that there will be a theory, some hypothesis, some idea of what is going on. And then that there will be supporting arguments, then that there will be maybe opposing ideas or contradictory ideas. There will be some research involved. Everything that tells you what a theory is or how they're done and how they're supported is going to contribute to the structure of every video in that channel. I hope you're following me. So now, thanks to this channel unique formula chart, we have two elements that are present. So we're going in the right direction. Now, what do we know about the audience? Believe it or not, we can still draw more conclusions by just looking at the channel. And when you look at the channel, every video covers a different video. Even though they do have their series, like certain video game franchises are repeated over and over. Every video covers video, usually. We have Just Dance has lore, that's Just Dance's game. Then we have Pizza Tower on the right, that's the game. And then below we have FNAF, which stands for Five Nights at Freddy's. That's a huge franchise in video games. But all of them are video games. But that contributes to a certain angle as well. So who's the audience? I would say, based on this, that the audience can be described in a few ways. I always like to start with the audience identity. What that means is, who are they in one word? What is the person that inhabits this niche, the niche game? Usually it's people who play video games or are interested in video games. If I'm correct, I could be wrong about this, but I think it's not for the casual player in general. It's for people who are a little bit more committed. But if you see people who play like sport games, like EA games, NBA 2K23 or whatever, I'm not saying it's impossible, but that kind of person is less likely to be watching this channel. I'm going a little too deep because I'm a big video games fan, so I have that extra point of view that maybe not all of you understand. That's okay. Yeah. Then, so we have an audience, sort of. Then the rest is the tone. And now this is where it gets fun. The tone and the creator. These two things may, not always, but maybe drawn from looking at the comments. This one is going to get interesting. If you need a trained eye to do this. Just Dance has lore. Well, lore, I believe, is a video game slang term. Like, it's super familiar to me, but maybe not for everybody. Lore in this context means story. So there is a story in this game. And when you look at, if you know Just Dance is an ultra popular game. If you understand that Just Dance is just a game, like a dance simulator, and you look at this title, it says, why would there be a story here? That is challenging your assumptions. If you're in this audience, at least, I will challenge your assumptions because you think that that game has no story whatsoever. So that is a tone. The tone could be mystery. The tone could be controversial, even. But we're getting somewhere. We're approaching, getting closer to what this truly is. To have the final answers, we're going to have to watch some videos. But let's keep going. We have this. Let's look at this other title. Don't trust your friends. Roblox Rainbow Friends. So again, we have something a little stronger than before. We have a murder. We have the word traitor there. So it looks like this channel likes to play with negative emotions, I guess. So in the first one, they were trying to confuse us with something that didn't seem to make sense. In the second one, they are presenting something that is almost evil, which makes it think too. Dark could be a tone. The controversial, dark. So we're getting somewhere, right? Let's look at some others. sauce, cheese, and revenge. So here the pizza tower video says sauce, cheese, and revenge. So again, this is negativity. Negativity is a tone as well. So I think we're getting some. Not all of them are like that, but it looks like, especially lately, they have decided to go on pretty dark. They like to introduce crime, they like to introduce revenge, they like to confuse us, they like to challenge our assumptions. So I think we got it. We have that the tone right there. When we get in the video, we'll see other things. Yeah. And the creator is the one mystery. So far, we don't know anything about the creator. He's not even in the thumbnails. So we will have to get into the video to find that out. Let's do that. And just yeah. So, well, funny enough, this video about the Just Dance I haven't seen. So let's have a quick look at this.
Really? Only 4 stars again? I've been playing all night. I've mastered the choreography, memorized the song beat by beat, note by note. How am I not getting 5 stars on this? I will get it perfect this time. Just one more game. What's going on? What's happening to me? Stop! Stop! Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show that's gonna be okay as long as you...
And that's probably good enough. I'm surprised, very, very surprised and shocked by that intro. And that was creepy. That was mysterious. And yeah, all of that. We couldn't see a lot about the creator. And as a matter of fact, because I know the channel, that person there was not the creator. It looks like they wanted to add a twist to that by putting a different person. But we have more idea now on what this is. So again, we got a tone. We have the niche. We know that the game that's being discussed. Let's see a little bit more about this video and see what happens.
Dance. Matt's voice was totally destroyed at VidCon, so that means you get Head Editor Dan today. Jerica, hit the air horns! Gee, thanks. Glad we're friends. Anyway. Today we're talking about a game that honestly I never thought we'd cover. But month after month after month, every time we went onto the Game Theorist subreddit, I would always see people asking for a Just Dance lore theory. How? How would that even work? I mean, the clue is in the name. You just dance. Sure, there have been a lot of entries in the series, and I'm sure they're chock full of little Easter eggs. But Easter eggs don't necessarily mean lore, unless you're Scott Coffin. But then again, if a random mobile game like Merge Mansion can have deep hidden lore, then why can't a dancing party game? And that's when we discovered that the Just Dance developers have hired someone whose job title is, get this, Lore Master. Since Matt found out, he's been signing his emails as MatPat Founder, CEO, Lore Master, and Internet.
That is ridiculous. All right, and it looks like they tell another important tone in this channel is comedy. Even though it's not the primary, because it's not the comedy channel, comedy is there indeed. Then we have seen some stuff about the creator. The creator seems to be, I guess this is not the best point, but it does seem like these people are on the younger end of the spectrum. And I do know from a lot of experience from knowing the channel that they are millennials. Yeah, people slightly over 30. And then, demographics are important, but not super important. The main thing here is that these are people who are very super interested in pop culture. The other thing is that you see how they are starting to theorize with a lengthy introduction on what the video is going to be about, how they are already getting ahead of ourselves, thinking, how could there be lore, any story here? And apparently there is, and it was even shocking to themselves. That's the whole breakdown very quickly. But before we move on, I want to share with you the longer breakdown that I did when I had a lot of time in my hands to analyze this. And before that, let's take a look at the chat. All right. Well, I apologize. I have not been asking you to engage that much. So let's keep going, and then I'm going to ask you to engage. Where is this? Right here. Okay, this is the big breakdown I did on this channel. Now pay attention. The game theorists is a hybrid niche. It combines gaming, science, and theory analysis. The one thing that we didn't get to see in that short section of the video is that there's a lot of science involved. They actually love talking about physics and even criminology to some extent, because in this story about video games videos, they really do their due diligence to investigate things as if it was a crime, or more accurately, as if it was science, like the theory they had to prove it, or this proof. The next thing is the audience. The audience, they have to be identified as gamers, gaming enthusiasts, because they don't have to play games, all of them. Individuals interested in analyzing science, theories, and hidden aspects in video games. That hidden aspects in video games is actually super interesting, because that is an angle that I like to say most people won't see. I mean, most creators are not doing. And what's cool about this too is that this is a part of their channel unique formula, which means you could be a gaming channel that occasionally talks about secrets in video games, but this channel is based on that entirely. All right. The next thing is the creator. MatPat, that's the name of the creator, who was not the guy who you saw talking in the video, brings a unique perspective through his analytical and theory-based approach. He does take his work seriously, even though he talks about video games, and gathers all the evidence, presents all the facts, and studies every detail about a video game to explain his theories. Then we have the tone. That's on the right side, second group. One of the unexpected tones is that the game theorist presents a blend of humor, scientific analysis, critical thinking to engage the audience. Critical thinking, honestly, I was surprised to find that, and it is so true, because one of the goals for this channel is to make people smarter. And that is just so attractive for audiences. They can have a lot of fun, and they can be smarter. They can say things about their favorite video games that many people can't. And also, it's like they almost feel a stronger connection with a franchise because they know it on another level. So the tones are here: humor, scientific analysis, why not, and critical thinking. The next thing is the structure. The structure is very clear, as I explained earlier, to explore diverse gaming theories, hidden messages. There are a lot of hidden messages appearing to video games. So many video games have hidden messages, which is crazy. Game analysis, engaging visuals and animations, as you saw, that's a very important thing. Even though I have a separate term for this that I like to call presentation style, this applies to structure to some extent. The style you're presenting the videos, using visuals, animations, all of those things also contribute to your branding. Then we have on the other side, we have presentation style, which I must admit is not one of the main 5 that we'll be covering in this challenge, but I find it very important. And between us, it was very hard to narrow the topic of branding to a 5 days training. But if you find a few things that are extra that you're not gonna hear maybe in the upcoming days, don't worry, you'll be fine without them. But if you want to learn more, I will tell you more about that in another chance. In fact, one of these days. An angle so powerful. This is outside of the formula, but also like very close sight to the idea of the channel unique formula. an angle so powerful that makes people say nobody would do this? I think I love this question or angle maybe because the biggest channels have something about them that makes people say nobody would do this. If you manage to accomplish that with your channel unique branding, you'll be gold. But again, this is the kind of thing that will, honestly, this is the kind of thing that will make you go viral. No kidding. On the other hand, we're not looking to go viral. So if you don't achieve this, you will be fine. But if you're curious about going crazy, about taking things to the next level, or to a new level, or even to imitate, people like MadPat, people like Mr. Beast, you have to think in this way. Have your audience say nobody would do this. Specifically to the game theorists, the game theorist has a powerful angle of analyzing and theorizing about video games from a scientific and critical thinking perspective, making it stand out and generating intrigue among viewers. Intrigue is a big word for this channel. And in fact, when you look at it, this is almost like a summary of the channel unique branding or the channel unique formula of this channel. That's what makes it super, super popular. You see, there is a pattern to everything. So this is not about luck. This is not about it only works for that niche. There's actually like a whole composition, their big combination luck, which they sort of broke, and that's why they got so popular. The next channel I want to talk about, actually, before moving forward, I want to know your take on this breakdown. Did you find this valuable? Do you see yourself doing any of this? Leave a comment in the chat and let me know. Is it clear yet? Do we need more examples? We have a comment here. It is very clear. All right. Great to know. I love using examples like this. I think they help a lot. So here's our channel unique formula chart. And now we're going to analyze a new channel. And that is, hang on, it's not super easy to go back and forth between tabs. Okay, so my next channel in the workbook, you can see these by yourself too. Is Watch Mojo. Ooh, Watch Mojo is a good. Mojo. I just put sharing the screen for a moment because I thought something didn't go right. There we go. Are you able to see YouTube now on my screen? All right, it looks like all our tech is working. So Watch Mojo is our next breakdown. So remember, we have niche, audience, creator, tone, and structure. 5 elements. So let's look at this. Watch Mojo is a channel with 25 million subscribers. Again, this has been growing at a very good pace for a very long time. It has 24,000 videos, which is a pretty crazy number to think about. And let's look at some of the. So what's the niche here? We have top 20 modern westerns. I have no idea what that means. 10 movie hero plans ruined my morals. I like that. 20 ridiculous shark movies. 20 scenes in parody movies. 20 saddest deaths in horror movies. 10 darkest Simpsons moments. 10 greatest Raylan Givens one-liners on Justified. I have no idea what that means. 20 movie moments that made fans rage quit. Okay. even though most of these are about movies and series, I know that sometimes they cover other stuff, but the niche is pop culture here. Pop culture, anything that is popular, of course, anything that has become a classic, or anything that is trending right now. So they do follow trends to talk about their content. And when you look at the niche is pop culture, right? Then mostly, but maybe not entirely, movies and series. That's very important as well. Then we have, if you pay attention to the title structure, it's always top 10 or top 20 something. And that is part of the structure. Okay, they chose the structure top 20. So that means that we know what to expect. Every time we watch a video, we're going to see 10 or 20 things being explained. Then another, the audience, I think it's very, very wide. I would say it's pretty much anybody who's interested in pop culture. Even if you're not interested in all of these particular movies, because they post so often, every week you will find something that you like if you are into pop culture. If you don't care about movies at all, but maybe this is not your channel, but that is what's going on here. Obviously, this is for people who want to be entertained, because the value here is not necessarily about learning something or getting inspired, but really it is like very heavily entertaining. It's also informational, but I would say that may not be like the primary thing. What's cool about this is that intrigue, I think, is a very powerful tone in here, because they make you curious. If you have something that you recognize, like in my case, I recognize top 10 darkest Simpsons moments. I get curious first because I like the show, obviously, but that is not why this is working. Actually, the reason this is working is because when they say top 10 darkest moments, I'm thinking, what are those darkest moments? Maybe it makes me think about what I know about darkest moments in the show and say, I wonder if this one will be included. I wonder if that one will be included. How many more are they that I don't know about or that I forgot? So when you put up an idea that makes the viewer ask a lot of questions in their head, that is the definition of intrigue. And what happens with intrigue? Intrigue makes you click. This is human psychology. So even it doesn't matter how smart you are, you will fall for the intrigue that these videos are triggering inside of you. So this is great. Intrigue then is a tone. Let's go back to our day 2. Here's the chart. So we have a lot of stuff already. We don't know a lot about the creator. I think we are going to have to get inside in order to find that out. I've been inside the video. The audience, people interested in pop culture, maybe more inclined to movies and series. The niche is pop culture. Again, that's the passion topic of the channel. Then the tone is intriguing, dark, mysterious, controversial even. So that's the direction we're headed. It's usually negative. And negativity attracts a lot of attention, by the way. The last thing is the structure. Everything is top 10 and top 20. The only thing we don't know is the creator. And there could be other things that we don't know once we go inside the video. And I'm going to play a video for just a little bit. Let's play the Simpsons video for a bit. Why not? I know it's super biased, but I'm hosting.
You're a smart young man, Bart. I hope you're smart enough to keep your mouth shut.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 darkest Simpsons moments.
Lord, I never question you. but I've been wondering if your decision to take Maud was, well, wrong.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most bone-chilling, psychologically tormenting, and visually disturbing moments from The Simpsons. Though we'll be excluding those from the Treehouse of Horror series, we'll also only be looking at moments from the titular show. So extended material like games, comic books, or movies are out. This list also has spoilers, so consider yourself warned. Is there a dark moment that we missed? Let us know in the comments. Just don't tease us like Nelson. Number 10. Banksy's Couch Gag. The artist known as Banksy provided a very...
I think we have what we're coming for. Before I get into the breakdown that I did, what I'm gonna say from first-hand experience just now is that we are finding more aspects about the presentation style. It looks like everything is being done with voiceover. Most of the imagery is footage from the shows and series. It has some editing where they show the logo and like lower third animation showing like number 10, number 9. Something new that we found out is that the voice is sort of professional. Like I almost would imagine that guy speaking at the radio or podcast. So I think that makes a difference, between somebody like me, for example, who, well, I have no idea how I'm perceived exactly, but I sound, like a maybe, educated, passionate nerd. I don't know what you're thinking, but that's sort of my idea of myself. That's what I probably sound like. And this guy has a very polished voice. Like he could totally be an actor or, be on the radio. That I know it sounds like super detailed, but those details matter. And I think that also provides some sort of authority. He has such a nice, like, show host voice that it also gives certain type of people a sense of credibility. You say, okay, he's confident, he sounds nice, I'm enjoying the video, kind of idea. And the next thing is, if you are paying super attention, but don't worry, like this is training. This is a training that I'm taking you through. The one thing I also saw is that it's not just a top 10 or a top 20. There is a twist to that. And that is that these videos are countdowns, which means that they don't simply follow it's not just 10 items that they put in any order until they reach to the last one. They're actually ranking them. So, and this is a very interesting structure and storytelling style, because if they're talking about the darkest moments in The Simpsons and they have a top 10 and a top 1, that means that as the video progresses, we're going to see things darker and darker. Isn't that fascinating? And even if your channel is not pop culture, you could totally take that format and use it on your own channel. So this is like the mentality of the hacker, the mentality of the analyst. And if you ever wondered about how you can gain inspiration from channels, this is a very, very good one. If you've ever wondered how you can use other channels to inspire your own content the right way, this is the right way. When you figure out the channel unique formula of successful channels, that is the juice, that is the gold that you can take and make your own version of it. Because imagine this, I was to take the top 10 countdown format from watchmojo.com and use it on my niche, which could be just about anything else. For example, if my niche is YouTube growth, I could say top 10 worst YouTube advice from 10 to 1. So would you think that I'm copying anybody? Would you think that it's a ripoff? Would you think that I'm stealing someone's ideas? Not really. The niche that I'm applying that format to is so different that it becomes my idea. That's it. That's fun, isn't it? All this overthinking that I always do pays off when things look so simple like that. It wasn't hard to become simple, guys and gals, I have to admit. I tend to be very complicated. And now, leave a comment in the chat. What did you think about that last idea where I told you how you could ethically copy someone with a huge following and be super completely original? Leave a comment in the chat saying what you thought about that. If it triggered an idea already within you. Let's look at the larger breakdown I did on this channel. I'm going to read this rather quickly. Get ready. First, hybrid niche. I'm going to explain that concept tomorrow, by the way. Many of these ideas I have not explained. I know there's no definition for them yet in this training, but I will tell you tomorrow what these are. A hybrid niche, top 10 list for WatchMojo, rankings, and informative videos across various topics, such as TV, shows, movies, music, pop culture, and more. Nice. So these are already kind of unique, even if we haven't said anything about the other 5 elements of the channel unique formula. Specific audience, individuals who are interested in pop culture, entertainment, and trivia. They enjoy informative and engaging content presented in a list format. Crystal clear. The next thing is a unique perspective. The emphasis is placed more on the content rather than the personal perspective. But this is what I wanted to emphasize here. The creator, even though we talked about the nice voice, radio show kind of style, authoritative, right? We did talk about those things. That doesn't make the channel super unique. It's good to have that, but it doesn't make it super unique, which takes me to the next point, which is you don't have to nail all 5 the best way possible for you to be successful. Okay. In fact, in this watchmojo.com channel, you will see that there, if you spend some time watching the videos, you will see that there are some things that are like not crazy unique. They're just fine. They're just entertaining enough for the audience. Maybe if people gonna find something wackier or crazier, they can just go to another channel. Nobody watches just one channel. Unexpected channel. Not necessarily unexpected for the chosen audience. It tends to be informative, authoritative, and objective. They do like to rely on facts. They do like to do a good presentation. Like it's, I would say it's professionally made. So again, you don't have to check all the boxes to get a big idea right or channel unique branding. Structure. The structure of WatchMojo is fairly consistent and expected, with a list-based format and clear topics or themes for each video. The audience has come to expect this structure, so this is good. You have to sort of mix expected and unexpected. If you are unexpected constantly, people can't identify you as a brand because everything is too diverse. But if you are too predictable, then you lose that surprise factor, which often attracts audiences as well. So it's a balance. Presentation style. The videos typically follow a standard format with voiceover narration, visuals, and occasional footage from the subject matter. And the last one, which will also surprise you, an angle that makes people say nobody would do this. The channel focuses on providing factual information and rankings rather than presenting highly unique and unconventional angles. I'm mind blown, honestly. This channel, of the 7 things that I have here, got 4 right, which means that they are unique and unexpected. Everything else unique and or unexpected. The rest is fairly consistent, fairly okay, nothing too crazy. And this is a super successful channel. So I wanted to take that angle too. That's why I decided to pick very different channels for these breakdowns. That was fun. It's getting me excited. I hope I'll be able to get through everything. we're gonna visit another channel. Video Game Donkey. I think I chose one too many channels. So let's go to Video Game Donkey. By the way, the personal touch on this presentation is that I know these channels and love them. Video Game Donkey. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't I choose to break down my favorite channels? All we know about this channel from first sight. The channel is called Video Game Donkey. It has 7.4 million subscribers. Again, this is one of those channels that has been in the game for a while. They continue making great videos. And his description says, watch my stupid ass videos. That doesn't help, or does it? So this doesn't say anything really about the topic of the channel. But what it does say something about is the personality, the creator behind it. So this guy likes to swear. This guy likes comedy. The details matter here. Let's look at some of the videos. The videos, honestly, the titles and thumbnails are they take me by surprise, to be honest. The reason why is that the titles and the thumbnails are so simple. Most of them don't have any editing when you think about it. Revisiting Uncharted 4, Donkey's E3 2023. Is a Street Fighter better than Golden? Okay, that's a pretty good title, actually. Is this the worst game ever? That's a good title, sort of. What else? Actually, I'm going to this videos tab instead. With Legend of Zelda, Donkey Tears. Okay, that's silly. Donkey is the way he identifies himself. We're not talking about this woke ideology. No. Donkey is the name of his online persona. Okay. So, I mean, this channel has a ton of personalities. It's the Super Mario Bros. Movie Donkview. I'm gonna help you a bit because it's hard to decipher what this channel is about by looking at the front end of things. What I'm going to do is first search up for a video that I remember being super funny. Sorry if I'm spelling that right. Okay, so that's the video. And then before I play it, or you know what? Let's play it now.
5 out of 5. Holy shit. Mario is the king of video games. We all know this. Time and time again, Mario has just completely fucking annihilated every other game on the market. And for the past 7 years, I think Nintendo has struggled to live up to that impossible level of expectation. With Odyssey, Mario is back to reclaim his throne right off the bat. Boom! This sweeping orchestra just knocks you on your fucking ass and shoots your soul into the stratosphere. You could turn into a chain chomp. Wham! Go up the waterfall, turn into a fucking T-Rex. Come on! Come on! How the fuck can you not be playing this game right now? There are
That was amazing. You could laugh or get annoyed by how much he swears, but we can see a lot of the channel unique formula elements present in this in those 40 seconds. The niche is gaming. In this case, you may not have noticed, but what I know for sure is that he does video game reviews. So he's a video game reviews channel. The audience could be just like the game theorists, could be anybody who's interested in video games. It could be players that are usually not so casual, maybe intermediate, and even advanced. Then it could be people who like video games that don't play. And so that's the audience. Then honestly, I think if you are not a gamer, you're not into games, you won't like this channel, or you're just not the target audience for that content. The creator, as you noticed, is one of the strongest elements in this channel. So the creator has a funny voice. I don't know if he does it on purpose, but he has a very cartoonish voice, which is funny. He swears a lot, which is super funny. He's very passionate about the way he describes stuff. You may not like it because it's maybe too assertive or even aggressive, but his personality is present in that sense. He swears, but he's also very passionate. When he likes the game, he loves it. When he doesn't like a game, he hates it with all his heart. And people feel that, and people love that. The next thing is that he's funny, of course. He resorts to comedy. He uses commentary in the gameplay. That's part of the structure, actually. The tone can be funny, sarcastic, critical. He's super critical towards the games he doesn't like, and even games that he likes, but the part of it he doesn't like. So there's a lot going on. And the presentation style / structure is him going through certain different aspects of the game. He talks about the story. When you watch more videos, you will notice that pattern. He talks a lot of he likes to go over the story to do his critic. He likes to talk about the music, even talk about the features, talk about the characters, talk about the abilities, the gameplay in general. Like, he likes to do a breakdown. That structure is going through different aspects of a video game. So that was my quick breakdown from what we just saw. The other thing that I hope you noticed is that the presentation style, call it structure, call it editing, call it recording, is very fast paced. What do we see on screen changes often, which makes the whole experience way more engaging. That style, I must warn you, doesn't work for every type of niche and audience, but it is a very good one to consider. Because if you are a channel that people prefer to consume in a fast pace or in a very shifting pace, you will want to try this style. If you're a channel that maybe talks about, let's say, history, just to put an example of something that is a little more serious, that requires more attention, you don't want to do something that is super, choppy, that the images change constantly on screen. Something for you to consider. Also, the last word is not in your assumptions, it's in what you test. Let's look at my longer breakdown of Video Game Donkey. Niche. A niche that combines gaming, comedy, and commentary. Perfect. And I think it's a specific audience. Gamers, comedy lovers, true. Actually, there are people who don't, I take that back. There are people who like this channel, even though they may not know much about the games. Individuals who enjoy entertaining and humorous gaming content. Brilliant. Unique perspective, comedic style, witty commentary, that is useful, and conventional approach to gaming videos. When you see more videos in this Video Game Donkey channel, you will notice that he's not super conventional about that. One of the things that he likes to do is to look for very, very specific details and complain about it. That is super cool. Unexpected tone, combination of humor, satire, and irreverent commentary. Isn't that amazing? In gaming videos, which often surprises and entertains the audience. Now you're seeing it. You're seeing why this is unique. Like, there has gone a lot of thought into making this masterpiece, really. I could be maybe overdoing it, but every channel I chose here, I'm convinced is a masterpiece. Structure, an unexpected structure that incorporates a mix of gameplay, footage, humorous editing, because the editing has a way of telling stories as well. That's more advanced. And honestly, I would love to see if some of you know how to edit and tell a story with it. But the editing is present. Unconventional storytelling techniques create an engaging and entertaining experience. Presentation style. Donkey's distinctive voiceover. You know what I'm talking about. That weird voice. Comedic timing and editing choices create a signature style. Signature style is branding. Yells branding. That resonates with the audience. Lastly, what is one aspect that makes this channel tell that makes people say nobody would do this. A powerful angle of blending comedy and gaming in a way that is unique to Donkey's style, creating videos that stand out to offer a fresh and entertaining perspective on gaming. This is exactly what is going on with this channel. So you see, from the surface, from the distance, on a surface level, it looks like a guy who's super angry and who loves games and it happens to be very skilled at editing. There's way more going on. And this is the behind the scenes of this brilliant creator. Isn't that cool? One thing I want to mention as well is that a lot of gaming channels, let's say gaming creators, feel disappointed and frustrated because they can't stand out in their niche. They can't make content that people are attracted to, and they have a hard time, and they have the tendency to complain about competition. And it's not that they are wrong, there is heavy competition, but this is how you beat the problem of competition. Knowing the 5 elements of a channel unique formula, studying successful content, and making your own genius ideas. Maybe we have time for another break. Do I want to do that? No. Actually, this is what I want to do. We may have time for that one, that other one too, but let's do Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. How could I leave him out? Funny enough, I do not watch all his videos, even though I super like his content. They admire him a lot for the kind of creator and person that he is. I don't watch every video he makes. So let's look at Mr. Beast. And is there a formula to Mr. Beast, or isn't he just a mad genius? Well, the answer is there is a formula. Let's talk about the channel unique formula of Mr. Beast. Do I need to say that Mr. Beast has over 100 million subscribers, making him the best, maybe not the biggest channel of all, maybe yes, but definitely the best YouTuber on the platform. This is coming from somebody who knows YouTube in depth, and he didn't decide to get really far, then get too comfortable, quote unquote, and make so-so videos to continue gaining views and subscribers. Every video, like, he is so crazy passionate about investing everything he has, everything he can, rather, into making each video a masterpiece. And for those who think that Mr. Beast has a lot of money, well, you're not wrong. He makes a ridiculous amount of money from YouTube. But he didn't start that way. I want you to know that. He was a kid making videos about gaming. Then he started changing niches, testing a lot of stuff. And the day he started making money, he started going, making crazier videos, I guess. But he didn't need it to get started. He didn't need it to be successful. Back to the breakdown. Let's talk about his channel unique formula. The niche. The niche is quite interesting because he has a mix of reality TV, challenges and games, stunts, doing things that are sort of impossible, I guess, survival. He's done some videos where he's surviving hunger or extreme weather or confinement. So his niche is kind of diverse, but not diverse enough for us not to have a channel unique branding. Then the audience is a very wide audience. I mean, 166 million subscribers. You don't get that far. You don't get those kind of numbers by narrowing down. I do not recommend it. I do not recommend having a channel that appeals to almost everybody, but he's done it successfully. And is it possible to do it again? Yes. Is that my recommendation for you? No. It can get really hard to appeal to such a big audience. However, some people are inclined to say that his appeal is for relatively younger demographics, say less than 40, maybe between maybe kids who are twins or even younger, and people in their 30s, and everybody in the midway. So that's more or less the audience. But just demographics don't really do a lot, but it's somewhat important. Then let's talk about the other elements of the channel unique formula. We have the tone. The tone is comedy. The tone is extreme. Almost everything he does is extreme, which is a super fun angle. Another thing is charity. So the tone here could be inspiration, because that is the consequence of doing charity work. You inspire other people. You make them feel good about themselves and about those who are watching. Philanthropy is huge, one of the biggest angles here. So who's the creator? Let's talk about the creator too. The creator is Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson, who is a young guy. And I don't think that's a detail, because when you're thinking about reality TV shows and challenge games and all those types of shows, if you think about the conventional way of how those shows are being made, you think about a host who is completely different to this guy. The host would be more like the Watch Mojo guy, someone with a nice voice, someone charismatic, someone who's usually like well dressed. If you have seen reality TV, if you have seen gaming shows, in traditional ones like on, TV, not the internet, that's what they look like. In this case, we have a Gen Z guy being the host of the show. Not only he's the host, often he plays himself in the challenges, and often, which is one of my favorite parts, that he often breaks the rules to make sure that everybody wins something. It's not the case in every single video, but often he just lets you win, even if you fail. And that's super cool. So Train versus Giant Pete. So we're talking, this is what I mean when I say extreme. Some are useful comparisons. For example, $1 versus $1 billion yacht. This is useful because in this case, the structure, just like in the train, the structure is in comparison. Comparing A and B is the type of presentation for a video. It's a type of structure as well. Then in the yacht video, he says $1 versus 1 billion. So technically, we're talking about two boats. And even though I didn't see this video, I saw his other video where he talks about $1 versus $500,000 plane. And I also saw the video called $1 versus $1 million hotel room. So what that means is in those videos, he didn't show just the two, the cheapest and the most expensive. He actually goes through a series of hotels and planes that range in prices, and the price goes up every bit. So you see that kind of reminds you maybe of the Watch Mojo format where there is a ranking. So this is a ranking with a twist. He's going from the least expensive to the most expensive. And honestly, if you're thinking about the kind of how many questions could be popping in your brain right now, there's going to be hundreds. Intrigue is the name of this game, and these titles and thumbnails almost make you like you will have to grab your hand with the other not to click. That's how powerful this is. Let's look at the longer breakdown of Mr. Beast's chin. Is this a hybrid niche? I will get on that on another day, as I said, but let's keep going. It's a niche that combines various elements such as challenges, philanthropy, stunts, and entertainment. Awesome. Audience. The content is primarily targeted towards a wide range of viewers, including young adults, teenagers, and internet-savvy individuals. Again, it's younger. there's not a lot of like, this is not gamers, it's not photographers, this is not online marketers, just young people. Okay. Unique and personal perspective from the creator. His creative ideas, generous acts, and own involvement in the challenges and stunts. They are all contribute to a unique perspective. Great. Next, unexpected tone. Unexpected elements such as extremely generous donations. I mean, why not? That is part of that extreme angle that is part of his branding. He's extreme about everything. He's extreme about the danger. He's extreme about the generosity. Got it? Elaborate challenges. Some of them are so crazy. Surprising outcomes. Yes, sometimes there is a premise saying this is what's going to happen when we try this, but something else could change. What's really cool is that because this works almost as a reality TV in short video, we don't know the outcome, and maybe they don't know the outcome themselves. They're just doing stuff. Like when they visit a hotel that is $1 a night, I suppose, maybe they have no idea what it's like. Maybe they've never done it before, but they jump on and bring the camera with them. Structure of the challenge is unexpected, incorporating large-scale challenges, philanthropic endeavors, and unique concepts that captivate and engage the audience. Next is the presentation style. Presentation style is unique, characterized by high energy, enthusiasm, and a touch of humor, which resonates with the audience. High energy is a very accurate description of the mood of the video. Like he's literally screaming he's shouting in so many of the scenes. Unless he really like lowers his voice, unless it's necessary. What is a powerful angle that makes people say nobody would do this? Extraordinary challenges, record-breaking feats, and philanthropic acts that often push the boundaries and leave viewers in awe. There you have it. That is the description, the channel unique branding or channel unique formula breakdown of the channel Mr. Beast. So you saw that we were exploring various channels, very different ones: video games, comedy, pop culture, Mr. Beast. They were very, very different channels. They are all very, very successful. And one way or another, no matter how diverse they are, they follow the channel unique form. Where does that lead you? Well, if you now that you understand how to read these elements in successful YouTube channels, you should be able to see that in your own channel. And that takes us to the rest of the presentation in the slides. So here are all the channels I broke down. It looks like it was more convenient to simply go to YouTube. We're gonna leave that site to go for another time. Your assignment for this day 2, the channel unique formula, is to figure out your own channel unique formula. In other words, unless you're a new YouTuber or unless you haven't started your YouTube channel yet, you have a channel unique formula. Doesn't matter how strong it is or how unique it is, you have it. Because it's part of the nature of making videos. The formula is there. The two problems are here is that maybe your formula is not consistent enough, which means that you change a lot of things from one video to the next. And the second problem could be that you do have a formula that you sort of follow, but it's not unique enough. Today, you learned about the channel unique formula. You can dissect YouTube channels that are very successful. You can ethically borrow some inspiration from these channels. And lastly, use the power of creativity to come up with something new. Now, do you need help to come up with a new channel unique formula for you? If you do, I encourage you to show up to day 3. On day 3, we're going to clarify, not only clarify some of the terms that you saw today, like the hybrid niche, I'm also going to give you 5 tools that correspond to each of the 5 elements to help you take action on these 5 elements and come up with something that is personal, unique, and amazing. In other words, the channel unique branding. Now, let's say that you hop off the goal, you started looking at your own channel and realized what your channel unique formula is. So all you will have to do is find the 5 elements in your channel to know what is what. That's it. And if you've been active enough and paying attention to this presentation, you know exactly how to do it. Or maybe not, maybe you need more practice, but that's fine. Once you've figured that out, how do you know if your channel unique formula is good? Maybe you think it's not good because you're thinking, well, if I'm not getting that many views and subscribers, maybe my formula is not that great. I hope you're not, don't get too negative about it, because that's why you're here. But how do you know? What are you supposed to be looking at? Are you supposed to compare yourself with Mr. Beast or the Game Theorists or WatchMojo.com? No, never do that. What you're supposed to do is learn a new tool. So this is the first tool, mega tool that I will be sharing with you. This is an actionable one. Once you figure out your channel unique formula, use this tool called the Channel Unique Formula Assessment. Answer these 7 questions in an honest way, yes or no. You don't have to get a yes to all of them, but the more yeses you have, usually, the more unique your channel unique formula is going to be. So let me read this over and explain them quickly. Do you have a hybrid niche? Hybrid niche means that your topic seems to be some kind of combination or mix between 2 topics or more. Do you have a specific audience? That means that you don't appeal to everybody in that niche, but you get one step further to talk to people who are in a smaller group that you can cater to. The next thing is, do you, as a creator, add a unique and personal perspective to the channel? So that is you, my friend. And I'm going to help you big time nailing the creator perspective for your channel. The next question is there at least one of the tones of your channel unexpected for the audience? Being unexpected creates what I like to call a pattern disruption. And pattern disruption is key to drawing people's attention. So now that you know what a tone is, try to find how that manifests in your channel and whether it's expected or unexpected. Expected means that is the obvious thing to do, basically, for that niche. Is the structure of your channel unexpected for the audience you chose? Remember the example I mentioned about taking the top 10 countdown from WatchMojo and applying it to my niche, that is YouTube growth advice. That is, the structure may not be super unique, but it becomes unique when I put it in my niche. Is your presentation style unique to your audience? That can be a tough one, because I haven't gone through this topic in depth, but you have the breakdowns that I did today, and you also have the channel, the Branding Breakthrough Challenge workbook, where you can see the in-depth breakdowns that I did today. Those are the last pages of the workbook, so we're clear. The last one is, do you have an angle so powerful that makes people say, nobody would do this? You could do this yourself or ask other people. Do you see this in my channel? Maybe they could help you out. And remember, I'll repeat it one more time. You don't need to answer yes to all the questions to have a channel unique formula that works for your audience. Remember our case in WatchMojo, they only had 4 yeses. The breakdowns I showed you in the workbook are literally the answer to these 7 questions. I hope you realize that. You don't need to get a yes on everything to make your channel work. And that's that. Ooh, that was amazing. Let me stop sharing my screen. Ooh, we made it in 85 minutes. Isn't that amazing? Let's have a look at the chat to see if anybody left anything, any more comments. Makes a lot of sense to research other channels. Oh, nice. Thank you for the comment. This is an epiphany. Take a style, put your niche and style to it, and it becomes yours. Yes, very true. Thanks, Patrick. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. That was day 2 of the Branding Breakthrough Challenge. Day 3 is going to be epic. I'm going to show you my tools to create your own channel unique branding, come up with what you know now as the channel unique formula. And I can't wait to see you there.